Welcome, Arizona Cardinals fans, to the Revenge of the Birds wrap-up show. I'm your host, Seth Cox. With me, my co-host, Tyler Nickel. Tyler, we've been off for 11 days, but we can report back 2 wins. First off, the Drew Stanton-led win over San Francisco, and then last night's just complete domination of a really bad New York Jets team. First question is, how much do you take from these games? And there is a correct answer, so if you don't answer it correctly, I'll fix it.
I'm not sure I take too much from them yet. It was encouraging to see some of the play calling tendencies that Bruce Arians had, in my opinion. I like that they had a lot of focus on David Johnson, getting him the ball. He's the most explosive athlete on the team. He's the best player on our offense by far. I think it's important that they got him the ball, even against a really good rush defense of the Jets. I liked that they kind of took away a lot of that deep passing concepts that they had, because it was starting to really affect Palmer, and it really wasn't doing anything for the offense. They weren't moving the ball that way. So they put in a lot of short route combinations, and I liked that a lot. Even with guys like John Brown and J.J. Nelson, reverses and little 5-yard outs and things of that nature. I thought it was really good play calling, and it could bode well for him in the future if he continues to mix it up and just mix in the deep passes instead of making them a focal point.
And I think what this showed you is that this team is actually, still good. Are they great? Are they Super Bowl contending? I think that really will be shown Sunday night, but they're still good. And there was a legitimate question there if how good they were for a while. 1-3 losses to LA, and then obviously Buffalo, who looks like a good team in their own right. But, like you said, San Francisco, not a good team. New York, not a good team. And they won those games, and they won them fairly handily. There wasn't any questions. There weren't any late game heroics, anything like that. And I think that's what was important, that this team came out and showed that they can still be a team that wins the games they are absolutely 100% supposed to win. Now, like I said, the question becomes on Sunday night football if they're still a contending team, or if they're a team that's going to be, contending, chasing for a playoff spot. The thing I liked the most, and you hit on it, was I think we're seeing the small, minuscule, but beginning evolution of Bruce Arians, understanding that maybe, Carson Palmer is not a guy that can carry you to a Super Bowl. He's a guy you can win a Super Bowl with as your quarterback, but he's not going to be the reason that you win that Super Bowl. And so starting to lean on, like you said, maybe the best running back in the NFL, if not, a top 3 to 5, and David Johnson, and a defense that has put up 2 very good to great performances in a row. Maybe that is how they win games, with the running game and the defense. And, I think it's a departure from what everyone expected, but I think it's still important that they can win these games that way.
Yeah, I think so too. And like you touched on it, David Johnson I think he's the best running back in the NFL, at least right now. And this season he has been. You could say Zeke Elliott, but his offensive line is better than what the Cardinals have. You could say a multitude of other players, but I think David Johnson, the way he runs with power and speed, is the best running back in the NFL. And if you're not getting that guy touches, like 20, 25 touches every game, the only one you're hurting is yourself. So if they continue to do that, I think they can take the ball out of Palmer's hand, limit mistakes. Yes, you're going to have a fumble every once in a while and an interception. It's not like Palmer's never going to throw the ball, but I think they're limiting their opportunity to make mistakes, and I think that's important. And I think if they can beat the Seahawks the same way they just beat the Jets, by mixing in those plays, they only had one deep pass last night, just one. That is an astounding stat to me. And I think if they can continue to mix it in, maybe even do a couple more deep passes, I don't know. But if they mix it in, I think they can beat the Seahawks and be one game within and still have a shot at the division title.
Yeah, and I wrote about this for tomorrow, but if they lose, it's basically over the division wise. I mean, they could still pull it out, but you're talking basically 4 games, 3 in the loss column, and then you have to win in Seattle. So you're basically saying it's a 4 game, deficit in the division, which is tough. As you talked about with the passing down the field, coming into this game, Palmer was 8 of 23 with only 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. So, like you said, and that was in 4 games. So they're right around those 6 deep shots a game. Drew Stanton was at 7. He had only 1 completion, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. His numbers were a little askew because of him coming in
Right.
and chucking the ball deep in that Rams game. But, so right around the 6 deep shots a game that we're used to seeing. And you look at it now, and as you said, one deep shot, proverbial, deep shot in the game. That's Arians, I think, recognizing what the league has seen, and also that maybe his quarterback isn't the same thrower of the football right now that he was, at this time last year, and so he's making the necessary adjustments.
I think it's also a recognition of Todd Bowles. I mean, he knows Bowles loves to blitz, and Bowles knows BA loves to throw the ball deep. So why not recognize that if you're the Cardinals and call the game like the way they did?
Defensively, last night especially, they were dominant. Still no shutouts. It's been since 1992, I believe, since they last had a shutout. I love that stat because it's just fascinating that it's been 24 years since they had a shutout. But I thought, Kevin Minter has really emerged this year as the best inside linebacker on the team, and I don't think you and I would have ever have thought that,
No,
especially
no, I was
Taylor
thinking. I
Buchanan.
mean, Minter was a guy that I'm not even sure starting this season they were going to re-sign. Now I think it's a virtual certainty they have to re-sign him. But to that point, though, I thought Buchanan had his best game of the season last night. I thought he played really well in coverage. He covered those short out routes really well. He covered the running back out of the backfield. I thought Buchanan had his best game. Tyrann Mathieu, on the other hand, got picked on quite a bit. I know he had the interception late against Geno Smith, but he gave up 6 of 9 passes his way. I feel like the Jets' game plan was to kind of see what Matthew could do coming off that ACL injury, and he gave up a little more than I expected. But
Yeah, he's not quite back yet, but I think you're seeing the evolution of it. I think you're seeing the fact that he's getting closer and closer every week. He wasn't as bad as he was in San Francisco, at least to my eyes. He was a little more active, blitzing and things of that nature as well. Overall, I think the 2 biggest things are how healthy Marcus Cooper and Carson Palmer are coming out of this game. Obviously, you'd like to see Mike Upati back this week against the Seahawks and their vaunted defense, but John Wetzel and Earl Watford did very good jobs on the inside. In the run game, in the pass game, they were okay, but in the run game, opening up holes, they're very athletic guys, which is
mm-hmm.
different than the Upati Evan Mathis pairing that we saw earlier. Anything else that you see, heading to Seattle that is a key right now?
I really liked how they got the ball to JJ Nelson. I mean, he's got so much speed, and they're also so aware of John Brown all the time that I feel like JJ Nelson sometimes gets overlooked by opposing defenses. And I'd like to see them continue try and get him the ball, not necessarily just deep either, but like they were doing last night with the reverses and things of that nature. So I like the way they incorporated him. And I would just look for that second cornerback spot like we talked about. I know Thorold Simon got some snaps last night. Um, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out against Seattle.
Well, that's it from us. Thanks for watching as always. Tyler, thanks for coming on. We'll be back maybe Monday, probably not Sunday night. Tyler goes to the games, so he'll be a little out of it. So but we'll be back Monday night to discuss hopefully a Cardinals win, because you know what, 4-3 after that start would be be pretty good.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.